Hey guys, TacticalOyster here, bringing you guys Free-Bar Exploits number 40 with Bondfire and Whack-Med. Hope everybody's doing well tonight, or I guess late afternoon. Shout out to our sponsors, Strictly Business Gaming and cinchgaming.com. Do give Strictly Business a follow. They did pretty good, or they're doing pretty good in the PAX tournament right now. And remember to use coupon code 3BAR for a discount on cinchgaming.com, where you can get high-quality controllers for a lower price. All right. Somebody get us started.
PAX East is going on right now. Jumping right into something.
All right, PAX East.
I don't know what's going on.
No,
So
PAX
somebody-
is PAX East, West, East, because you're
PAX
going to
East.
West, right?
It's East.
Maybe
I'm planning on going to PAX
it's in
Prime.
Seattle. PAX Prime
In Seattle. I might be going actually with Rage of Heaven. I don't know. We were talking about it.
See in
So
that general vicinity.
no, but he said he'd be willing to fly out this way. So, Rage, if you're watching, we need to talk about that. All right, there, buddy. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, I follow a lot of big YouTubers on Twitter, and I see all these like tweets and stuff about what they're doing at PAX, and like a lot of them are actually really hyped about this Evolve game. Have you guys heard about that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
well-
the one that did the cover of Mother by Danzig, and I was like, wow, that cover's really cool. So I looked it up, the whole cover of the song. They did a very poor job overall. I was very disappointed. It's a shoot aliens game or dinosaurs.
I don't want us to completely sidetrack this, but since you brought up Danzig, I just want to throw this in there real quickly. Are you guys Danzig fans by any chance?
Not huge Danzig. I don't know enough of
But you're
the
familiar
stuff.
with Danzig.
I know Mother.
Okay, I do.
know
I
there
do
was
as
one
well.
other song that was worthy on that album, but I can't remember what it is.
Because our generation is so sad. I made some like Danzig reference in history the other day, and it just flew over everybody's heads. It just flew over everybody's heads, and I just thought it was funny because nobody ever talks about Danzig, and now it's come up twice. People, go listen to Danzig. Great band, great work out there. You need to check them out because
Is it a
you're
band or
missing
is it
out.
one man?
Well, I know the main guy's name is Danzig, but anyways, check him out. Great project. Anyways, carry on.
Anyways, music aside.
Evolve. The game Evolve is how we got here.
The game Evolve, yes. People are raving about this game based on what I've seen on Twitter. And for those of you that don't know, Oyster included, it's done by the guys who make Left 4 Dead, which is a very popular game, especially on the PC. And it's basically a 4v1 multiplayer game. The one person is like this really strong, giant, monster-looking thing, which I'm sure you might, if you look up the game, that'll be probably the first picture you see. The other four are like human characters that you play, and the four humans are supposed to hunt down this giant monster. And everyone says it's really fun, and it's got me intrigued. I think that'd be a really fun multiplayer game, like with friends.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, seeing all these tweets from all these people, like just interacting, and like there's a lot of people in the gaming industry are there, and makes me want to be there. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I've seen some of the cosplay stuff, and I don't know. Like, I have a question for that later, but I don't know what the appeal to that is. Did I miss a memo? Why is cosplay so popular?
Why is cosplay so popular?
Yeah.
Why is cosplaying so popular? Because most cosplayers are somewhat attractive females that are dressing up as popular game characters for people to look at. That's why cosplaying's popular.
I refute that in that most of the ones you see are good-looking females.
Sure.
Well, that's because the only time I see cosplays is on the League of Legends front page of people doing League of Legends cosplays, and the reason those get to the front page on Reddit is because they're relatively attractive females doing cosplays of gaming characters that people like.
I don't want to blow any kid's mind out there, but ugly chicks wear Victoria's Secret too. They don't check your beauty at the door and allow you or disallow you to pass into the store for expensive, luxurious underwear, fragrances, makeup, any of that. It's for air buy.
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? Therefore, the ones you see on cosplay. I just don't know why it's so popular.
Captain Whack. Yeah,
Yeah,
people
I
bringing
don't
the sound effects back.
actually, but it's weird because I would say over the last, I don't know, I will say 5 to 7 years, you've seen, it's really gone almost mainstream in the fact that it's very popular. Obviously at Comic-Con, down in San Diego, the big Comic-Con conference, and a lot of people do it. A lot of people are enjoying it, and people are embracing it. I don't know what's made that change, because it used to be if you dressed up as like some weird character, you're that nerdy dude that everyone makes fun of and picks on. But now
You
it's
still are that nerdy dude. It's just that you're surrounded by other nerdy dudes when you're doing it. If you're doing it at one of these conventions,
I disagree, because you talk about all those attractive females doing it. That makes it more mainstream and more appealing. Therefore, more acceptable.
I guess. I stand corrected.
To your point,
I just
there's a
correct
reason
myself?
bars have ladies' nights and not men's nights.
True.
And that would be one of those reasons.
But it seems like it's more acceptable these days, and its popularity has grown tremendously.
True. But I don't understand. We were talking before the show. We were Skyping before the show about finding a comprehensive site to get PAX news from. It's hard to get it. Titanfall made an announcement, and I'm having difficulties with all my screens that I have open over here. They're having new game modes that come out, apparently. One of them is a 2v2. They got some... it's 2v2 Titan on Titan. There's going to be some new burn cards, and maybe some customization for your Titan that's going to be more available. But they didn't say anything about good game modes. Good meaning, I want to see something unique. And you say Titan on Titan's unique. Not really. It's team deathmatch. It's in your Titan, but it's still just team deathmatch, and that's been in place for 20 years now. A team deathmatch style game mode. Domination, Capture the Flag, those have also been, Capture the Flag at least has been a game mode for 20 years. I want to see something new that we can do with these Titans, and I know we hit on this last week, but they're impressed that they're coming out with new stuff in their DLC. I am additionally not impressed, but as much as they think they're impressing themselves, I am that much more so less impressed with them.
Somebody mentioned this a while back, just in casual conversation. I don't remember who it was, but it was one of my friends. And I thought it was kind of interesting because they said, wouldn't it be cool if there was a game mode that was not the real game? Like, what if they had a game mode that was like a parkour running game mode, for example, where all you did was race other people around the map in some kind of set-up course, which I know doesn't involve any kind of shooting. And so you may say it wouldn't fit into the game very well, but I thought it was an interesting idea, at least given the game mechanics you have built in.
I would accept that. I mean, it really kind of would.
I think it would be cool.
I definitely think that would be interesting. I was curious because again, Matt Wackman just said we touched on this last week a little bit in Oyster. I'm curious, what particular game mode would you like to see? Obviously, you just mentioned the parkour mode, which is intriguing for sure. But is there a more first-person shooter type game mode that you would like to see? Because I think we established this last week. I think this is the one big thing that Titanfall is missing is a lack of variation of game modes.
I can't think of one. I just knew that. I just know that was an idea that I heard somebody use, but I mean, I can't think of one myself right now.
The area the map that you two dislike because of its COD likeness.
Rust.
Is it Rust?
Rise.
I'm
your
sorry.
video, Oyster. Your video you were playing in Rise, the one that you called me out for not watching. That has in the alleyways has that really steep verticality that's right next to each other where you can parkour back and forth and actually get on top of the map and get blown up. What if you had a game mode where it was like that, where you have that nothing but verticality, you have a bottom that's a definite bottom, and you have a ceiling that's a definite ceiling. All of you have the same gun, and it's team deathmatch, but you have to stay open and mobile, and maybe it's a checkerboard type pattern. you have
Wait, so you're saying play
you-
team deathmatch in a straight corridor?
with no, not a straight corridor, like maybe a hashtag style corridor, a hashtag of corridors. So
Oh, I see what you're
corridors
saying.
that intersect like this. Maybe the point is to have there's no floor, so if you don't continue with your parkouring, you fall to your death and you're out.
I think that'd be cool, except that I don't think a lot of people could keep parkouring that long successfully.
That's the point. It'd be a
Well,
3-minute game.
I guess. Okay, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I kind of adapted that from what you were telling, what you were saying about your friend with the racing. That's kind of adaptation of that.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Just think it's got to be something. I think it's got to be something. But they're impressed with themselves because they've got DLC coming out. They've got 3 maps coming out.
That's my beef. That's my whole beef with the DLC. I understand it's $10. I get that. That's less than your typical, first-person shooter DLC, which is typically $15, comparatively to like Battlefield and Call of Duty. But granted, we got a lot of maps at launch. I think we got more maps than I anticipated for sure. Even though I don't get to play them all, which is a beef that I have. But
How many
3 maps. I feel like I need more. I feel like if that's what I'm paying for is just 3 maps and maybe not an extra weapon or Titan, $3.33 per map. It's. I'm not saying it's that hard to justify, but it makes it a little difficult.
I wanna throw the flag. Titanfall came with 15 maps. It's 5 less than a Call of Duty launch.
Really, I didn't know that.
15 maps,
I didn't know that either.
according to the Titanfall Wikipedia.
Here's my problem, though. I mean, you talk about Call of Duty maps because of its vote system and the fact that people don't like bigger maps. You don't play all of them. You might the first week you might play all of them, but otherwise you will never see 5 to 6 of those maps ever. And that's my problem with buying DLC is because with the vote system, when it launches, yeah, you can play the DLC only playlist, and then you'll cycle through those maps for the most part. But then after that's done and that's back into the basic, gameplay, you might not see 2 of those maps, 2 out of the 4.
I like Angel City
Ever again.
and I hardly ever see Angel City. I think
Same here.
It's
a fantastic map.
The King of the Grunts, where I got the 79 grunt kills, I got that 2.5 weeks ago. I think that's the last time I've played Angel City. I play Training Ground every time I turn it on, though.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand why Training Ground's a better map than Angel City. Angel City's a smaller map, and it's got more action in it, my opinion. But
I
we
like
play
Training Ground
Lagoon
quite a bit, though. I
and
mean,
Nexus
it depends on what
all
you're
the
playing,
time.
though. I think Training Ground's good for like a domination game type, and enjoyable in like a team deathmatch variation. But you're right, it is a bigger map. I don't know why it's more popular.
Oh, it seems to me like all of the fighting on these maps wind up on half of the map. One half
Yeah,
or the other
that's true.
half. I don't understand why the fighting's not in the middle. And is it that way in Battlefield? Do you get maps that are that lopsided when you're playing an attrition style or a team deathmatch style game? I understand domination. You push them into their spawn, but
I want to say no. When you're playing like a team deathmatch in Battlefield, the spawns are set up nicely to where it kind of moves you around the map a little bit. So I would say no. Now when you're playing like domination, yeah, of course you can get that,
Right.
lopsidedness. But I would say no in Battlefield. It's been a little bit since I've played, though. Truth be told.
But Titanfall to me seems like you're on one side or the other the entire game. Angel City, at least you're in the middle most of the time, or maybe the middle's open enough that it feels like you're in the middle most of the time. But the one that's got the hole in the middle, the circle in the middle,
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name.
It's
I
the
don't
one
know the
that
name, but I know what you're talking
just
about.
did on King of the Grunts. But it's a nighttime map. That one, you're always on one side or the other. It seems like you never... And it changes like halfway through the game. It'll change to the other side, finally. But I don't understand why they lean so far. They seesaw, and it takes a while to get from one side to the other. And I don't get it. This game needs a second edition. I think that they've found out. I don't. This was a nice experiment. Let's move on and find the better Titanfall. Do a better Titanfall.
If they really want to win people over, they should make War the World at War game mode from COD, because every year people say, please bring back War. It's such a good game mode. Everybody loved it who played it, and every year before COD comes out, people request it, and by the thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands. I see it everywhere on tons of videos, tweets, everything. Bring back War, and they never do it. I would love to see them maybe do that, and maybe take a couple other retired game modes from Call of Duty, to be honest.
War is a domination style game, right?
Anyway, I've tried to explain it on here.
Oh, yeah, that's like with the 5 flags, right?
Yeah.
And you
5
kind of
flags, you
pushing
fight over
one
them
side.
in one. It's like a combination of tug of war and domination.
Yeah.
So
You know what? I was just actually thinking about this. We were talking about game modes. I really think Titanfall could take a few cues from Halo. I know a lot of people don't play Halo anymore, but there's some really good game modes in that game. I can think
King of the
of
Hill.
one in particular, actually. King of the Hill, I think, would be fantastic for Titanfall. And also the Ricochet, which is actually it's almost like a sport in the sets that there's a ball that spawns randomly on the map, and you each side has goals, and you're supposed to take that ball and throw it, or take it to the goal. I think that could get really fun in Titanfall, with the actually like the people and the Titans mixing the gameplay. Obviously, if you had the ball, I don't think you should be able to get in the Titan, but if you're in a Titan, you could pick up the ball.
I think that's another
Something like
game
that.
mode that's along the lines of, it doesn't have to be a traditional first-person shooter game
Right.
mode that's based around gunplay.
Yeah.
Like, you could have a parkour-based game mode, even if it does involve shooting, like kind of Wax idea. You could have a game mode like that, where there is some shooting involved, but that's not the whole point of the game. And I guess people could say, well, that's what CTF is and stuff, but it really isn't. I think they should try to experiment with some different game modes that aren't gunplay-based, because I think the lack of game modes is my biggest complaint with Titanfall right now. The biggest reason probably that I don't play it as much as I used to play Call of Duty when Call of Duty was in its prime for me, because I don't play Titanfall very much, to be completely honest. I think it's a really good game. I like it, but I just get bored of it kind of quick, and I get a fix in of Titanfall maybe once every week or two for a couple hours.
Yeah, in thinking about it, that's one of the great things about Halo is that they really did experiment with different types of game modes, trying to think outside that box. Looking back through the years of Halo and its life cycle. So I definitely think Titanfall could take a cue, and who's to say they aren't thinking of these things? I'm sure they are, because I'm sure those complaints are all over the interwebs. But I'm from what I've heard of this DLC, I'm excited to see what the maps look like, don't get me wrong, but the fact that there's only 3 of them, to me, is disappointing. And you talk about the 2v2 like game mode and those types of updates, that stuff's free. So
yeah, that's not part of the DLC. That's the 2v2. It's just I think it's supposed to launch with that update. Were there any more PAX topics? Did y'all see any other news on PAX?
I haven't followed any of the news.
I can't find good
I
news
thought
on
there
it.
was one more thing, but we can move on.
If you want to look for that, the the random question: if you were going to cosplay, what would your character? What would your character be? What would your costume be?
I would do Thresh from League of Legends, because I saw one of those earlier. I know Bondfire doesn't play League of Legends, so he doesn't have any idea who Thresh is, but have you happened to see a Thresh Whackmed?
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Okay, I'm going to send you a link to a Thresh cosplay. It might not be the exact one I found, but I saw a really good one on Reddit the other day, and I will send it to you guys if you want to show the picture on screen, but you guys can discuss while I look for it. But that's who I would pick.
That's interesting. If I were to cosplay,
If you were to cosplay, what would your character be? I don't know.
This is your question. You have to know an answer.
No, I don't. That's one of the beauties about my questions is that they're not.
No, you
I
do.
don't usually have an answer for them
You're supposed to, though.
off the top.
That's the rules.
And that's not the rules. That's cheating because you didn't know that question before I just said it. So
And
it would be
that's
cheating.
fine. But see, since you knew the question, therefore you should have an answer ready.
Just in case
you
I
knew
have
the
to
question.
bail you guys out from not having an answer.
Or thinking. And while we think, you can give us your answer.
Here's the link to the Thresh cosplay I saw, just so people know what who Thresh looks like. If you want to show that, Whack, and
Let's
you
see
guys
this
can look
thing.
at it too, because it's really good, especially the setting in which they did it.
I don't think that's. Is this the character? This is not someone's picture.
What do you mean?
This is not a picture of a person.
Yeah, it is.
It's a cosplay.
It's a cosplay.
Like this is a setting in front of a green screen. Then
No, it's not. Look at the later pictures. The first one looks kind of bad, but you can clearly see it later down.
Yeah.
okay, let me get
Plus,
this.
I
on
mean,
the
they
correct-
probably-
What makes you think that this? What makes you think that this is fake, Wag? Look at the last picture. That is clearly not a green screen. You can tell the last one's not a green screen. If you look at the last picture.
Because of the filter that's put on it, it looks like the gravestones are the wrong color. I've never been to a graveyard where they were that color, but that looks just like bad lighting. Maybe that's what that is. He used the bad lighting to his advantage.
The first picture is bad lighting and a bad angle.
Bad lighting,
The rest
bad
of
angle,
them-
but it's also poorly lit. I mean, it's like his head is awesomely lit, but that's it.
It's
Everything
a
else is...
graveyard in the middle
That's
of the
the
night. And
point.
it's not a professional cosplay. It's not like professionally
Yeah, but
funded.
to shine light on only one place, that is professional
That's-
lighting.
The point.
The face lights up. That's why in like the third picture, that's in the first picture, that's why there's light on the face, is because the face is supposed to be glowing. That's the character.
If this is real, this dude
It
is
is real.
awesome.
If you
This is
look at the
awesome
last
costume.
picture,
It is
look at the-
absolutely fake.
Look at the lighting on the last picture and tell me it's fake.
It looks fake.
I
That looks like very fake lighting.
How? I don't see how this
Because of
is
the
fake.
graininess of the... Oh, Bonfire's been trying to say something. It just looks all wrong.
I don't see.
I know my cosplay. I got it. It's tied between two things.
I think you guys are getting a little too skeptical and cynical of this.
I believe it.
Okay, well,
I believe-
Whackmed then.
Call Photoshop.
It's not fake, okay?
No.
May they have added some-
I understand the
May
dude's got
they
the mask
have
and everything.
may they have added some effects in? And
That's
stuff?
all I'm
Yes,
saying. They added
but
a
it's
few
the,
effects.
The costume, the point of a cosplay, the most important part of cosplay is the actual costume. The costume is completely real. The dude's out there in a costume.
And then
okay?
they probably just touch up the green
They
a little
probably
bit to
just
make it
touched
stand
up
out.
the pictures a little bit. Yeah, that's fine.
By the way, Whackman, if you go to that Kotaku site that I referenced to you and you said you liked,
I
they
did.
show a ton of like professionally done cosplay pictures. So you'll see stuff like that. But I think I would choose one of the two. I would either be a Jedi from Star Wars, no one in specific, but I'd make my own, or a Stormtrooper because I think it'd be awesome to wear the Stormtrooper uniform.
But that's just... like.
That's
Am I
cosplay.
wrong in saying that this is all... like you go to a store and you buy this stuff? You don't build any of this stuff?
Yeah, a lot of most people make their stuff because
Yeah,
you
cosplays.
can't buy a Thresh mask anywhere. Like, well, they don't sell that at Walmart.
Right. But I mean, this is big enough that I expect that you can go online and buy cosplay.
Maybe for some
Stuff,
characters. I've never
cosplay.
looked into it. I know there's a YouTuber that I follow who's a female who does cosplays, and she has like posted things showing the process of creating parts of the costumes.
Yeah.
So I'm confident that a majority of them, while you may buy some things and some more generic materials, that most of the cosplays are mostly made by hand for the most part.
IGN did a video on it today, and they had a lot of different pictures and stuff. And I tell you, one that was done extremely well was the characters from Payday 2.
That'd be kind of neat.
They did a really good job on their masks. I was impressed. I don't know, because it's like, do you want to go the cheap route and just say something that's cheap, or do you want to go extravagant and say, thousands of dollars, just let me let me look like that character. I would probably try to find something that's anime just to get a hipster vibe to it. Something I know nothing about, either anime character that I may look like. It would probably be a bad guy because in most cartoons the bald guy is the bad guy. I don't know why. It's complete harassment if you ask me. But if not, then maybe Mega Man. Because I was always a fan. I was always a fan of the Mega Man series on the original Nintendo, and I would be the biggest Mega Man anyone's ever seen, I imagine, because he was squatty. He was short and squatty, so proportionally, cannons for arms. I'd be shooting small people at other, enemies.
Well, thank you for answering the question.
When did Bondfire answer?
Yes, he wanted to be
either a Jedi or a Stormtrooper.
Oh, that's right.
Stormtrooper. And you wanted to be Thresh.
I do want to be Thresh, because Thresh is just like a scary badass, basically.
That does look pretty cool.
Collects your souls. So.
And that's why I can't.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan, I gotta be honest. I love Star Wars.
I haven't watched all the Star Wars movies. I've watched 3 of them. Because I was gonna...
The newest 3?
I always get confused how the order works. It was
the ones
original,
that were done the most recent.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
It was the originals, the ones made originally, not like any digitally remastered or anything. And it was, I believe, 4, 5, and 6, because me and my dad were watching them in chronological order to the story. So, whatever the chronological order of the events of the story actually happening, we watched the first 3. So okay. I don't know which one, if that's 1, 2, 3, or if that's 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3.
My understanding is that 1, 2, and 3 represents 1 2, as 3. In the story.
Yes.
But they were made second.
Episode 1 is the very first.
So if I watched 1, 2, and 3 chronologically, those were the 3 most recently made.
Yes.
They were made okay. Those are the ones I watched.
What about?
Please go watch the originals.
Oh yeah, go watch the originals because 1, 2, and 3 are bunk.
Well, I wanted to watch it in the original. Like I wanted to watch it in the order of the story. I thought that was the way you should do it. So that's.
Yeah, on a good series, that is absolutely. You should not go watch Harry Potter 4, 5, and 6, and then go back and watch 1, 2, and 3. That would be wrong. However,
terrible analogy.
This would be. Yes, it may be.
The reason being is because 1, 2, and 3, yes, they tie into 4, 5, and 6, but 4, 5, and 6 are completely fine you watching them alone. You won't miss anything if you miss 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that's what people told me, but I intended on watching the whole series at the time in a relatively short period of time, but I didn't get around to those.
You should.
This was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Because me and my dad were going to watch all 6 of them in like a weekend, but we only got through 3.
Yeah, I can see where a lot of people dislike 1, 2, and 3. I can see the reasons why, but I'm so much of a Star Wars nerd that I just embrace it. So, I have a question. I will ask a question, game related.
Oh, good.
So, what do you guys think of HD remakes?
Of HD remakes of
the reason why I think about this is because The Last of Us is being remastered for the PlayStation 4, and I'll be honest, I'm freaking excited. I'm gonna pick it up.
That's BS because it's not really being remastered. It's just a port over. Let's call it what it is. I mean, unless I'm wrong, I haven't done any research on it, but I can't imagine there's a vast difference between the game that came out a year ago for the PS3 and the game they're coming out with on the PS4 now. It was a game from 1987 that they were making for the PS4, and yes, you're going to see a sizable difference. But other than the fact that it's been ported over to a different console, I don't see how much of a difference there could be unless they're making a new game.
I think the resolution's just better, and it comes with the DLC. But I'm going to pick it up because I want to support Naughty Dog, and I love that game that much that I would love to replay it again. Even though I know I could do it on the PlayStation 3, but I've noticed in the comment sections people are just flipping out. They're like, "This is such a cash grab. This is crap."
The Last of Us is.
I completely disagree that it's a cash
grab.
grab.
That it's a cash grab to port the game to the new console. You're delusional.
No, it's a cash grab. I think
It's not a cash
yes, it is
grab.
because they
It's
just
crazy.
came out with this game. If you want to go play it, go play it. I wouldn't pop
What
Grand
if
Theft
I'm,
Auto
what
5
if
on the
I'm a
last
360?
console.
What if I'm a 360 player who switched to PS4, switched to Sony this generation, and I want to play Last of Us? That's not. If you're dumb enough to buy the game, I don't mean to offend anyone. Maybe even Bondfire,
Yes,
who's
you
going to
do.
buy the game for the PS4. But if you really feel like you need to buy the game again for the new console when you've already played through it once, when it's a story-based game with limited replayability, then that's your fault for spending money to buy the same game again. It's not a cash grab.
that's different. But if
Well,
you
then
went from
how
if
is
you
it a
went
cash
from
grab?
360 to PS4, then
That's
you
who
never
this
got
is
the
targeted
opportunity.
at, I would think. I don't think they're saying we want to
Yeah.
sell this to people who have already played
Exactly.
the game.
That's not what I'm seeing as a cash grab. What I'm seeing as a cash grab is if you're going to release it on another console, you're just looking to get more money. If Titanfall was released on PS3 or PS4 or 3, I'd consider that a completely fiscal move.
That's not what this is, though.
That's exactly what this is. You're going to release it
How?
on an additional console. It's a re-release of the exact same game.
So more people can play it. Why is that bad?
That is your assumption that they're motive.
Why do we have to look at? Well, of course they're going to make a move that's fiscal. We're going to get dragged in the whole capitalism talk.
I didn't do that.
But you laid the table for it because you knew I would take the bait. But first of all, it's completely okay if they want to make a cash grab. Making money is good. We all like money. But why can't we assume that Yeah, I know. I'm such a money whore. Me and my $50 checks. But why is it such a bad thing for them to want to give people the game that haven't played it before?
Because it just came out.
It didn't just come out.
The game came out last year, didn't it?
It's been over a year, and this is on a new console.
When did it come out, Bonfire?
May of last year.
It came out a year ago.
It's been almost a year, yes.
Almost a year. This is bad. You should not do this. However,
why?
I disagree.
It doesn't make any sense.
You're not adding anything. Bring out The Last of Us 2.
They're adding all the DLC. It's all one package.
What if I had bought the PS4?
Doing a Game of the Year edition.
Whackman, if I had bought the PS4 instead of the Xbox One, I almost bought the PS3 to play this game. Like, that's how intrigued I was by this game. I didn't, but I was close. If I had bought the PS4 instead of the Xbox One, I would be so excited right now because I get a chance to play this game that I wanted to play but didn't have the access to previously. That is not a cash grab. You could say, will it benefit them fiscally? Yes, it will. Will it make them more money? Yes. Is that possibly part of the reason that they did it? But yes, it definitely is part of the reason they did it. But that's not, if that were the only benefit, if it were a cross-platform game last generation, and you essentially didn't provide to a new audience by releasing it again, then I'd say, okay, this is just a complete cash grab. But there's much more merit to it than that. So I don't think you can call it a complete cash grab.
It's the exact same game. It's not a remake.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to be the exact same game. I don't think they're calling it something different.
What kind of benefit are they adding by bringing it to PS4?
By letting new people play it. Are you not listening to what I'm saying?
Then that's just a cash grab. That's just looking for more money. Yes.
They're making more money, but that's not the whole point.
Hey,
of
did you
releasing
know?
it.
Did you know if we'll take this thing that's already completely done and offer it to those people, we can make more money off of it. It's just about the money.
Yeah, but it's not like there's.
Are they really going to support this game? Are they really going to support it?
What support is there? It's a single-player game. What support is there to be had? There is multiplayer, but let's be honest, the majority of people are buying it for the single-player story.
Yeah, completely.
Right. So it's not as if they need to support it a ton. I'm sure they will support it a ton. You know why? Because we don't have to assume that all game developers are corrupt jerks. Like, we don't have to assume that they just do everything for money. I mean, this isn't EA. EA didn't release this game, so we can assume that they have souls. Okay?
Oh, man.
I had to get that in there.
I think I got shots on the wing, Captain.
After Whackman saying that cosplay was completely fake, and after him saying this was a cash grab, I think you're just going through the world a little bit too skeptically.
I hate the fact that people they're so upset that, oh my god, it's a cash grab. Here's the thing: if you bought it for PlayStation 3 and you played it for PlayStation 3, you don't have to buy it for PlayStation 4. The only reason I'm choosing to do so,
people realized this.
The only reason I'm choosing to do so is not only to support the developer, because that's what happens when you buy a new game and you don't buy it from GameStop. And I love the game that much. It's that freaking good that it deserves to be played again. Thank you.
Thank you, Whackman. You've been bested. We can move
And
on.
also,
I disagree.
here's another reason why it's not 100% a cash grab, because they started the PlayStation 4 remaster right after The Last of Us was released on PlayStation 3, even before it sold over 6 million copies and won over 200 Game of the Year awards.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Before.
My man. Bondfire, dropping the knowledge. It's not a cash grab. You don't have to go buy it.
So what I was going to say on the absolute opposite side of that was I'm loving RBI Baseball. And it came out in 1984-85 and was just released for the Xbox.
That's a cash grab.
What did you
I'm
say?
just kidding.
Shut your mouth. It was just released for the 360. And I paid $20 for this game because it's worth it. Because I had so many memories wrapped up in a game that's 20-something years old that when the music came on, I made my dad come in and look at it. When the music came on, he smiled. Because it was that good of a game. That's not a cash grab because they made the game new. They did more than just move the graphics from 144 to 10. Well, Xbox being 500, but they did more than just upgrade the graphics. They made the game new. They changed it. They put the entire major league in it as opposed to like the 8 teams that were in it. They upgraded the game. They made the game better than it was.
When it comes to games that were from previous generations, and I mean generations as in generations, not console generations, I mean real generations, I don't think you even have to make any upgrades to the game for it to be valid other than graphical upgrades, because the way I see it, majority, like for example, when did you say that game came out, Whack, originally?
It launched with the Nintendo Entertainment System within the first year or two. So 84,
early to mid 80s. Yeah. So the majority of people who play video games now, probably weren't even alive when this game came out. So I think if you're going to remake this game that came out in 1984, 85, whenever, and just make some graphical touch-ups and release it, then that's fine because you're allowing a whole new generation of gamers to experience it that may not have had the opportunity. Because even if I wanted to go play that, I couldn't find the device to play it on or the game to go play it if I wanted to.
Right. So
I think it's good. I don't have any problem, even if they didn't make any upgrades, because it's letting new people play it. I would love if they even did even newer things like in Nintendo 64 or GameCube games, like if they re-released those for the Wii. So I think that would be cool.
My problem is games that are made within the last 3 years.
I'd say anything that was released in the last console generation
after 2010
remakes. Anything on the 360 or PlayStation 3 and from then on shouldn't be remade. Anything before that though, because a majority of people, if it's a situation like The Last of Us, that's okay because it's different. But if it were a cross-platform game, I don't think so, because the majority of the people who would be buying it now probably had an opportunity to play it already. So it's not going to be new to a lot of people, which I think is the purpose.
I think that's a completely valid point. However, and I'm going to ask you guys this: what game do you want to see remade? If you could pick, a game or two to be remade, what would you like to see?
4.
I didn't ask the question yet.
I'm sorry.
But I did a video on 6 games that I think deserve to be remade. Actually, I think it's 5. 5 games that deserve to be remade. And my number 1, which is the first one I cover on there, is Fallout 3. Mm-hmm. That was done in 2008, I believe. And it's on the Xbox 360. It's on the PlayStation 3. A ton of people played it. It's on the PC. A lot of people play this game. The reason why I think it needs to be remade is because not only did it have a lot of bugs at launch that just didn't get fixed as the years have gone by, but with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, it's such a graphical upgrade to where this is an open world game. It's going to run so much smoother. It's going to look so much better. And when it comes to open world games like that, having the graphical power makes a difference. And I think it will be a better experience overall, and I love that game.
Well, as someone who doesn't, I guess my only counter to that would be that, one, if they didn't fix the bugs when the game originally came out, what makes you think they're going to make a bug-free version this time? Which
Sure.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't, who knows.
Sure.
But then also, as someone like me who doesn't really care about graphics, that's not really a valid reason to remake the game for someone like me. I understand some people would.
Were you here when I argued? You were not
but-
here when I argued about graphics. Have you played Dead Island recently?
I have not ever
That
played
game.
Dead
Go
Island.
back and look at the graphics on Dead Island. That game has terrible graphics. It made it nearly unplayable for me. I think I'm gonna have, like I said, I'm gonna wait for Bondfire to play with me before I try to play that game because the graphics are so bad. And I've heard several people talk about several YouTubers, 3 total, to be honest, say that was a really good game.
It is. That's why I'm really excited for Dying Light, which is that studio's next game for the PS4 and Xbox One. Looks fantastic. Man, yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think that,
so I was gonna say, so what games would you guys like to see made? Because I already shouted out my video when you missed the little chime button on the sound effects. Sound effects.
I'm really busy right now with stuff like talking to Wag, but here you go.
What are you doing? Writing a paper?
Yeah, he's right. He's talking to me on the thing because we're
Yeah,
arguing.
people don't realize, like, the shot calling of the show goes on in the chat. So if
Yeah.
I'm typing, that's, like, most likely what
He's
I'm
doing
doing.
producer work.
Yeah, I'm the founder, producer, co-host of this
Hey, wait a
operation.
minute.
I'm a
I know
busy
something that
person.
we must revisit since we're going that route, and that is that, Bonfire, you and I were called out in the pre-show for the first kiss thing that we did on the last episode, and I think that we need to make you answer that.
I would not classify it as a calling out by any means.
Was
I
it- what-
simply...
was it
He's
the
like,
comment
well,
on
I
your
bet
video?
that was awkward. I was like, yeah, people
No,
lost their
here's
man
what
card.
happened.
and
Since I need to break down once again what happened, because Whackman once again is trying to twist my words. Like
Court
he did.
reporter, read it back.
What happened? And sorry, my voice is giving out a little bit, but
Mono.
I was supposed to shut up. That was clever.
It was
I
well
like it.
played.
Oh, there's the sound effect. Someone's on the board. I'll
That
be
guy
on.
came back to the show. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Anyways, so I was going back to look at last week's episode for some reason. I forget what Whackman asked me to check.
The intro.
Oh, the
Because you
intro.
like to
He wanted-
support the show and not only your fellow co-hosts.
What?
Yes.
Stop.
Just move
Stop.
on. Come on, let's go.
I was going back to watch it because Whackman was talking about the intro and I hadn't seen it, so I wanted to look at it because we changed the intro up a little bit last week, and I saw in the title that one of the discussion topics was first kiss, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting to be talked about on a gaming and tech related, for the most part, podcast. I wonder if that was awkward.
That's not.
And
It's
now
not
Whack-
like. No, wait a minute. You didn't go all
That-
4th grade school child, innocent question.
That's what I said. It's going to be uploaded.
No,
on
it
the
was more like
show
that was
tonight.
awkward.
I said, I bet that was awkward, in a way. Maybe. And this is after we had the prom viability discussion thing,
Yeah,
too.
that's true.
So,
That's true. I'm waiting. The audience is getting stale.
I'm so confused as to what's going on right now. No, I'm not going to
Okay.
talk about that right now.
Okay. In that case, random question time.
No,
Yeah,
wow.
no, wait a minute.
I see. Wow, okay.
There you go. Well done, sir.
There's some other
someone's
stuff
gotta
that
hit
went
the
on.
soundboard.
There's some other stuff that went on as far as roasting last week's members in the pre-show that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to stir it up. But just know that things were said, all right, about a certain other discussion. And I'm not going to say what it was right
now.
now.
Wait a minute.
unless Whack wants to
There
say
is
it.
a misrepresentation there because there was some editing that was done on that. So, Bonfire is afraid of bugs.
I dislike bugs. Yeah, what's wrong
Dude,
with
no, you seemed from your playthrough on what do you call it?
Oh, the scorpions. Is that what you're talking about?
Dude, no. The thing is this: if you haven't watched his playthrough, go watch his playthrough.
Okay, wait.
It's
If
like
he was
episode
really saying
29.
he's afraid of scorpions, that's a valid point.
No,
to
wait a
be
minute.
scared of.
You
Those
don't
things
understand.
kill you.
He stops the game to point out that there are scorpions coming up. The man, he's like,
I
whoa.
imagine that's like.
No, whoa. Do you see that? There's a scorpion over there, and I don't like those.
Next time I do a Titanfall, I'm just gonna be, or if I ever do one, I'm gonna like stop as soon as I see a Titan fall down, like go to my start menu and be like, "Do you see that Titan?"
Well, I didn't press start. I just
No, he didn't press start. He just quit moving. He just
paused, so I assumed he had started.
Yeah, no. He just stopped what he was doing, didn't look at the game, looked at the camera, and he's like, "I don't like scorpions." I was waiting for a tear. I really was. And then for the next couple of minutes, because bugs become a part of the game, a pretty big part of the game at that point, which was pretty obvious to me. I was like, cool, he's going to bash some scorpions. All right, he gets to squish bugs. No, he's like, I have to touch them, and it makes me feel awkward.
I don't like scorpions, man.
Dude, it's a video game, and you went...
I don't even like looking at them.
I noticed.
I gotta look at them.
I noticed. Like,
They're
what's with the phobia, dude? I mean, that's full on pathological phobia. That's
Well, scorpions are scary, man.
and these
Scorpions
have
kill you.
balls of big spiky mace balls on their tails, and
Spit stuff at you. That's nasty.
I mean, Whack, do you realize that if a scorpion were to sting you, you might die?
no, this scorpion's as big as Knack. This scorpion could take down a car.
Yeah, that scorpion.
Another
stings
reason
you,
for
you'll
me
die.
not to like them.
Now, it's a disproportionate reaction that you had about these scorpions.
Hey, you know what's great though? My reactions are all real.
That was real. There was fear in your eyes.
Wait, was my PewDiePie roast in the pre-show or right now?
Well, it was a to be edited portion of the pre-show, but
Oh, well,
go
why
ahead
did
and
he edit
blast
that
him
out?
so that we can do something
No,
that...
it's just that in the pre-show.
Wait, listen. Go ahead and
Maybe
blast
he'll come
him.
on the maybe he'll
Just-
come on the show if I roast him.
Maybe...
No,
Listen. Maybe we will do
we're
something
here to
that
make
he
friends, not enemies.
was not able to do in the future because we're better than him.
Or maybe I'll just say that in the pre-show, when Bondfire was talking about doing Let's Plays of scary games, I told him not to become PewDiePie because PewDiePie's content is bad. There, I said it.
folks.
Okay.
I said it.
Well, that's an edit that I don't have to do.
All right.
Anyways,
I was gonna say something awesome, but I totally forgot it.
Yeah, there went your segue.
Oyster threw me off.
I'm sorry, but I didn't know.
Why
that
are you
was-
so afraid of bugs? Did something bad happen to you in your childhood?
Could have that I just don't remember because I've repressed it.
Dig in there and
I
find
just
it.
don't like 'em,
Waves
man.
Man was talking about how I'm like a therapist and people pay money every hour for me to tell them that they're jerks. Or for psychiatrists to tell them that they're jerks. And I told him after I heard that he liked Raphael and Wolverine. So, why don't you tell me why you don't like bugs and I won't charge
Because
you either.
I don't like them. At least I know and can admit that I don't like bugs. Maze Man,
I mean, I don't think
No.
anybody likes bugs that are not, like bug scientists.
My wife doesn't like bugs either. She stands on a chair and squeaks until I kill it and remove it from the house. And I'm thinking that Bondfire is probably on a chair next to her.
The other day there was like
the scorpion.
The other day there was a grasshopper in my house, like at the top of my stairs, and my mom yelled at me to like come get rid of it and kill it because she was all the way at the bottom of the stairs, yelling about it like a good 10 vertical feet away, or so. Maybe that's what Bondfire does. Maybe he waits for his significant other to kill the grasshopper while he stands at the bottom of the stairs because he's scared of it.
Grasshoppers?
Holding up his skirt and trying not to fall in his high heels.
This was a large grasshopper. Let's see. This grasshopper was like the size of my glasses lens. It was a relatively large grasshopper.
Community facepalm in 3, 2, 1. Bugs, people, come on. Grow a set and let's move on.
I didn't even kill the grasshopper, just for the record.
I'm
very humane. I got a towel out of the bathroom and I scooped it up and I let it go outside.
I was going to tell a story that it probably has something to do with my distaste of bugs. So, little Bondfire back in Colorado.
Bonflame.
Ah, yes, that was good. That was good. Where's
You
my
saw
phone?
that? Oh, you got that now.
Yeah, that was great.
Did
That
you
was
see
awesome.
that? Okay, thank you.
Oh man, all right. That was awesome.
Okay,
Please
good.
Please do that more.
Bond Flame.
Story time's over. Let's move on. I ain't gonna share this story.
No, share it. You have to share it now.
Well, not if you guys are gonna be, like
Man, we didn't do anything.
flaming
You're
me
now
for lack of a better
You're
word.
now Bond.
No, we were talking about the chat stuff. Please continue. I said you should be Bond Flame. If
okay.
it's gonna be Young Bonfire, it should be Bond Flame or Bond Flicker. You could be
Oh,
Bond
Yeah,
Flicker.
because the flame becomes the fire. You were
Right,
a
yeah.
small
Alright,
bonfire.
alright,
And-
alright.
That's
Yeah.
all that was.
That's okay.
You can't let it fly
Well.
over your head, man. That was a complete whoosh.
Okay, so
What's the story?
Little Bonfire, or as you like to call them, Little Bond Flame. He was in Colorado with his little blanket that he'd carried around, and
Oh, this is gonna be a sad story, isn't it? Please don't be.
my
a
mom
sad
told me
story.
one
can't
time when I
handle
was a
this
little
right now.
tyke that on my blanket there was a scorpion.
Oh no.
And we had to get rid of it. And I didn't, because I came out, with the blanket and the scorpion on there, and I was like, Mom, there's something on my blanket. And from that day on, I don't like them. So I was traumatized.
You were
As a
attacked by
youngster.
scorpions as a child. That's not cool.
See, that's why I don't like them. There you guys,
You know what,
there you guys
Wack,
go.
I feel
A little
bad.
heart to
that
heart.
I feel bad that you pestered him so
Yeah.
much, Wack. You're a bad friend.
I didn't do that. That was.
God, this guy. I don't know why we even do this show with him. He's just. I mean, he's gonna traumatize Bonfire of that.
Because I make awesome jokes like most people probably missed.
God, that
happened
cod
just a
flame
few
was
minutes
so good. Oh man, I love a good pun.
3 things you would never do.
Interesting.
Wait,
3
you just,
things that you would never do.
Oh, that's so broad. Like,
Yeah, look.
can we refine it to like a specific
No.
genre of
3
things?
things that you would never do.
Okay, my first thing is gonna be kill another human being,
Never?
unless it was self
There's
defense
some
or to
others.
protect someone that I was a
So
family
that's
member.
not on the list.
What?
You would do it under
You would do it under certain circumstances.
No, I think I can answer the question however I want to answer the question. That's my answer.
But that's not a right answer. You're wrong.
Okay, fine. Well, okay, I'm right.
Wow.
You're entitled to your opinion. Just know that it's not correct.
That is the oyster way.
It is the oyster way. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. All right, that takes away my
Speaking of
first answer.
t-shirts, before Whackman answers this question while we think about our answers, when are you going to sport one of your t-shirts? Because I know you took your shot. I'm waiting to see one
I
of your
may have to
t-shirts
buy
on
a
the show.
TacticalOyster t-shirt.
I'll try to get one by next week then. Because
All right.
I kind of forgot about it. But yeah,
You gotta sport your own stuff, man.
I
Especially if
know.
you're going to rock the blazer. I think that
Think
one
about
of
the oyster shirt under the blazer with the pocket.
The pocket.
The pocket square.
Pocket
Yeah.
square.
Yeah, I think it'll be swagging.
Oh no, please don't say that. You can't conjugate swag.
You're the old bald white guy, so you cannot say anything about my swag.
My baldness has nothing to do with that.
It has everything to do with it.
So what are your 3, Whack?
Oh.
Again, you didn't come prepared.
Mm.
Well,
So I've got 2, but
I don't know.
I
how
would never
gloomy
do
to go.
anything to intentionally hurt my children. I would.
Wait, I have a question. Do you just mean physically hurt, or any kind of hurt? Because I think some people would argue there are situations where if you hurt your children in a way that you think it's good for them, like for example, not letting them do something they wanted to do that you thought would be good for them.
That's hurting their
Technically, you're
feelings.
hurting them
Your feelings
emotionally.
don't count. No.
Okay, that's what I was trying to
no.
ask. That's what I was trying to clarify. Because I'm sure that as a parent, you have said, no, you can't do X, Y, or Z, and they've been emotionally hurt by that.
One of them got a spanking today. No, wait.
All right.
It was yesterday. So, yeah, that doesn't... No, That's making them better in the long
Okay,
run.
I just wanted to... I wanted to clarify.
I mean, that caused physical pain, too, so that's a negative reinforcement. But...
wanted to clarify.
Like, real hurt.
All right.
Emotionally, physically, or... I don't know, any other way you can think of, I guess. I would never quit admiring good artistry. And I would never leave my God. And the last one I understand is kind of cheating, because that could be a fallback for anyone who has a conviction in a religion. There you go. Never hurt my children, never leave my God, and never stop admiring good artistry.
Okay, I'm going to go like one at a time because I can't think of all mine right now. But I'll throw my first one out there is I would never view someone differently because of a belief they had, regardless of how valid I thought that belief was.
That's really hard to do. As someone who has the same aspiration, that's really hard to do whenever you start. I mean, psychocriminals included. I believe people taste
I would never
good.
treat someone differently based on a belief they had, regardless of how valid I thought it was. I would think of them differently, probably, but I wouldn't treat them differently.
Okay.
That's mine. Okay, because I realized as soon as that came out of my mouth and you said what you said, I'm like, wait. So if someone's a blatant like Nazi and a racist, am I not going to think of them differently than your average Joe? I probably am. Yeah, I should probably change this. So I'm gonna. I that's my amendment, and I'll think of the other two. Bondfire, if you want to share.
I would never do drugs.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Wow, you're not getting any painkillers in the future? You never do illegal drugs, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So you. Okay.
Never have, never will. If that answers your question.
It does.
I will never smoke anything. Never have, never will.
Not worth it.
And the last one, I would never do any intentional harm to my loved ones.
I don't think you're allowed to use number 2.
What was number 2?
He'd never smoke anything. Because that's an inference of the drugs.
Cigarettes. Cigars.
Okay. Wow. There's still.
It's like I'd say that's like
cheating. It's almost like cheating. It's like I would never do drugs, and I'm going to qualify that by saying I would also never smoke anything.
You got to give us one more.
I don't know. The tribe has spoken.
Because that's like 1.5 things.
2.5. 2.5 things. His other was completely acceptable.
Yeah. 2.5.
Leave us in the chat below. Tell us that was only 2.5 things. Or what 3 things you would never do. Or give us some stuff for the future, man. We love answering questions from you guys.
Yeah.
I meant to say that way earlier in the episode. Now that we're an hour in.
Now that we're an hour in, we like audience.
But give him some time while you answer yours.
Well, I mean, I took time to think about 3, and I legitimately thought of 3 because they are 3 things. And now you guys are calling me.
What was my first one? I would never treat someone differently based on the belief they had, regardless of how invalid I thought that belief was.
Right.
I would never admit that I was wrong if I believed I was right, just to, sometimes people will admit,
you need a good divorce attorney.
No, you're not.
At your age, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, you will need a good divorce attorney.
I will never admit I'm wrong if I don't actually believe I'm wrong. There's other ways you can diffuse a situation by pretending that you were wrong.
Married men, come on, help me out here. He will eat those words in the future, will he not?
Oh man, well, that'll be after my YouTube career probably, so you'll never know.
I want you to come back in 15 years and comment. You're right. Episode 40, Whackmed was
Episode
right.
40. I'll be in the middle of an argument. Man, back in 2014, episode 40.
What I would rather
That dog guy.
but I tell you what, don't hold that, because I would rather you do what's right between you and your wife than to stubbornly hold to it just because you said it. I said I'd never do this, so I'm not. I don't want to ever do anything just
I
because
also
I
wouldn't
said
do
I
that.
would
That's
or
not
would
my
not do
third thing,
something.
but
I don't know. The would you three things you would never do. I didn't see them going this way.
How did you see it going?
Smoother. I thought y'all would have.
this is pretty big, though. Like, you have to admit, this is like a serious, thought-provoking topic. I like the
Do
question.
you want me to not come with good questions?
No. I like the question. I like the question. I just think expecting an instant answer is a little bit too much, because you do have to think about it a little bit.
Okay.
We'll just leave that there.
So let's see. I have number 2.
I'm sticking with my 2.5.
Okay.
Things I would never do.
I admire
Apparently,
that.
apparently there's not a lot Oyster wouldn't do.
Apparently, Oyster would do anything. He's pretty open.
There's a lot of things I wouldn't do. I just don't need to say them all on this publicly broadcasted podcast. I will never be a liberal. Yeah. Screw Obama. I'll never be a socialist. That's my third one.
Okay.
All right.
Technically, if your country becomes socialist, you would then be a socialist?
No, that's
No?
not true at
Not
all.
true?
That's
Okay.
that's completely not true. Because just because the majority of my countrymen are of a certain ideology doesn't mean I'm automatically of that ideology.
That's true. Just because
It's true.
Because being a socialist is an idea, or a Republican or libertarian or whatever is an ideology of yours. You could live in a country that is predominantly something or has a socialist government. That doesn't make you a socialist personally, because it's not what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right then.
we don't have to get into politics talk. 'Cause people
No,
are
we
gonna
will
bore you.
not get into politics. It's so boring to get into politics talk.
We need to do a politics talk episode one day. 'cause
I
it would
feel this
result in
way
some-
and you're wrong. Well,
It
I
would
feel this
result in
way and
some-
you're wrong.
It
Well,
would
I
result-
feel that way and you're wrong.
Exactly, it would result in some funny arguments.
I don't like arguments.
We just had one about the.
You guys
about-
argue every episode.
We
Well,
do
he and I
argue.
argued for. Did you see what I put in the Skype? Can I disclose that?
Which
Addressing
one?
this specifically about being wrong and arguing.
I don't remember what you said.
I
but
said
before-
I said me as a.
No, but for the
me-
record, right now we're arguing about whether we argue a lot or not. So that's a thing. But
Yeah, I think
We
that
should probably get away from that.
validates the point.
How
Yeah,
close
but
can you
carry on.
how close can you stand to someone before it's creepy?
Is this your next question?
That's
really?
my next question. It's not deep. It's very shallow. It
it
is.
depends who it is and what the situation is. There's too many variables here.
How close can you stand to an acquaintance of the same sex before it becomes creepy?
An acquaintance of the same sex, and what kind of?
With your own definition of acquaintance.
Well, it depends, because like if I'm at a rock concert or something, I'm down in the mosh pit, then I'm going to be up close to people. But that's just the product of the environment. If I'm in line somewhere, I'm going to be really close to someone because it's a product of the environment. So it depends what the environment is, really.
That's cheating.
It's not cheating. I'm just trying to properly frame the question as I always do.
Oyster,
Laser
you're gonna make a
brings
fantastic
integrity.
lawyer in the future because you
The
take a
Blazer-
statement and you literally just destroy it. You're like, okay, here's my question, and then you're like, no, you're wrong, and this, and then that, and maybe in this particular situation, and then maybe not there, and you just like blow the thing, just blow it up. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that it's a bad thing, but like, boom.
No, the blazer
just
means
got
the blazer means that I have to look at things from all angles and provide a skeptical yet realistic outlook to our viewers.
When you walk up to a schoolmate, how close can you stand to them?
Like if I'm just
I'm
having
gonna
a,
answer the question. Here
like
we
if
go.
I'm having a conversation with them, if we're just in the same area.
So I got a bubble. All All right, I got a bubble around me that's probably like 1.5, 2 feet.
Okay.
You get in the bubble, we got problems.
How do you give people hugs?
It's a hug. It's a special occasion. That's not a conversation.
If we're hugging, you have been given permission to enter the bubble.
Right.
Okay.
No. Bubble
But we're not
intrusion
hugging,
accepted.
so you don't get permission to enter my bubble.
Okay. I can't hug. Okay. You heard it here. Nobody can hug Bondfire. He's a hugless. No wonder you don't like bugs. You've never hugged anyone. And that's called full circle.
Apparently, if you don't hug people, which apparently I don't do, that makes you...
Yeah, there's some people that I know that like to talk close, and
yes,
they're very close talkers, and like my camera right now is as close as I feel comfortable standing and talking to someone. So I could put a mask on it and think it was a face. That'd be kind of okay. But they like to talk like this close. They like to get real close enough where I wonder if my breath is okay. That's too close.
Yeah, I'd say my edge, assuming my conversation, is that if I can smell your breath, you're too close to me.
No, if I'm worried about my breath because you're that close, then I could be chewing gum or have a mint or
Vice
something.
versa, same thing.
If we're that close, we're too close.
I would agree with that assessment.
And
holy crap!
Yes.
What? Holy crap! What?
Well, I was laughing at your tweet, and then right below that is GameSpot tweeting out, get an Xbox One, Titanfall, Forza 5 for $460 at Fry's right now, Fry's Electronics.
What?
And I was like, holy crap.
That's a great deal, and I'm kind of jealous.
Along with all the other windows I have open, I need to open Tweeter. No, why did you do that? Now I have to retweet that. I'm not retweeting that just because you tagged it.
I'll retweet the GameSpot article. But yeah, wow.
I have a question I want to ask that I thought of.
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't know if I should ask it though, because it'll invoke politics talk.
Go ahead.
If you were elected president of the United States tomorrow, what are the first things you would try to change?
And you didn't want to get into politics?
You didn't want to get into politics talk?
I did.
It's a political question.
Of course you do.
I wanted to get into politics talk. Hey, I was elected student council junior class representative last week, so I'm not officially a politician.
Well, did you run on the theme that I will continue to talk until you vote for me? Because that seems like a platform you'd be willing to espouse.
I actually have a funny story about this.
That's a yes.
No, it's not. It's not. But I have a funny story about my platform that I ran on. So my original platform, the theme of my speech, was the previous regime of student council did not do what they promised they were going to do, and they did not keep their promises, and they didn't really accomplish anything. Okay, and that I was actually going to accomplish things if elected. Then the dean of my school sent me an email the night before the speeches. And was like, your speech is a little too roastish, and you're kind of calling out the previous student council. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that, or we're going to prevent you from speaking. So I actually had to rewrite my speech the night before.
We're not happy with what you wrote. We're going to censor your free speech here because you're not nice.
That's what happens at my school sometimes.
You're a private school. They can do that, though.
I agree. That's what I try to tell people.
All right, so for those of you who didn't click through to the next random question.
Oh, God. I thought it was a good question. We don't have to do it, though, if you don't want to.
We just didn't do that question.
If you guys don't want to get into politics talk, we can skip to your question. I don't have an answer to.
What's one thing in your life you regret?
And I don't really have any major regrets right now.
Well, you have to think of something, so... For me, I'll go, because I'll step up to the plate. For me, I never played baseball in high school, and that's something I wish I would have done, because I think I would have been good at it, and I could have potentially went somewhere. So,
baseball's a fun sport.
It is, and now that I'm back in softball and playing again, and it just makes me think about, Could have done something.
Wagman's over there face palming.
He's upset because I didn't choose like some deep, dark, inside like Bondfire's soul.
Right, that's why I didn't want to
regret.
answer this question. And I want to talk about our political ideologies because
For those of you who are not in the chat, I ran this question by them because it could be more than some would want to answer here. I regret being
we don't want to talk about our political ideologies. Okay.
I regret being such a jerk to people when I was young. When I was like 15 to 17 years old.
Oh, were you one of those kids who thought he was cool because he was on the football team? And was
No,
like just a
I was the guy that got
jackass?
picked on, so I tried to pick on anybody else that I could. I was a real jerk. And there's a lot of people I was not nice to that I wish I'd have been nice to, that I wish I'd have given a chance to, and I wouldn't have been so close-minded about things. If I hadn't have been so close-minded about people just because they did something or thought something or said something, I think I'd be a much better person now.
That's legit. I wish this isn't a regret as much as just something I wish I could change, but it's kind of a regret at the same time. I wish I were more comfortable being a little more outgoing in certain situations. Like,
can we get an example of a situation?
well, I just think I'm very reserved around people that I don't know. Like, you would never think, okay, I'm assuming that, like, watching me on this podcast each week, viewers, and you guys, would not think that I'm a shy person because of the way that I speak, right? However, maybe.
Due to Skype chats, I would, but only not from anything you put out publicly.
People, from what I put out publicly, people would think that.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, I don't really talk to people that much outside my like direct that I don't already know. Like if I'm talking to someone for the first time, I'm much more reserved than most other people are when they're talking to someone for the first time. Mostly because my conversation skills are not very good if I don't already know something that we could talk about. If I don't already know a common topic, I'm not good at starting spontaneous conversations if I don't already know like what a good topic would be. So that's like my one regret / thing I would change is I would try to go back to like the 5th grade and like work on that and be a little more outgoing as far as meeting new people, because I think my social life would be, I mean, I have a good social life now. I have lots of friends and stuff, and I socialize with people, but I feel like I would be more well-rounded socially if I had learned to talk to people I didn't know. Because I think it's hard to make new friends if you don't know how to talk to people you don't know.
Can I give you a tip on that? Because
go for it.
One of my best friends, he accused me of being awesome at cold calling. You familiar with the term? Cold call?
I don't know what that means.
Cold calling means that you can just open up something. You can open up a conversation. You can open up a sales pitch. It's typically for a sales pitch.
I was going to say, been there, done that.
Now, I feel like I can do that for a sales pitch.
That's all it is in real life. You're opening up
Yeah, but
yourself.
if you, I guess mine is like I have a lot of friends now, and I'm pretty well off socially right now. And I go to a small school, so there's only, 40 guys in my grade, but I'd say I'm at least slightly decent friends with every single, male in my grade and some females in my grade. And I feel like, though, if you were to introduce a new kid into the school, which obviously happens, I couldn't talk to that person and become friends with them outside of a group setting because I don't know how to start a conversation very well with someone who I don't know anything about. If it were a sales pitch or something like that, I would be fine because I know I'm supposed to talk about this pitch. So that's different.
Yeah.
But as far as just starting a casual conversation with someone I don't know, that's a skill that I wish I had practiced more as a young person, younger person.
Let me put it to you like this. As a person, you have a resume that you're going to give to businesses. I mean, you will in the future. I've got one that I maintain. Bondfire, you probably have one that you maintain, a resume that you can give to gain employment. What you would be doing in that situation is giving that sales pitch of you. And, hi, how are you? You just moved here. You start with those icebreaker type questions that you recognize, as you called me out for it before. But you start with simple questions like that, and you're looking just like a salesman to find common ground and points of conversation. And I really wish I had learned that at your age. I really wish that I learned that I could just go up and talk to somebody and just do it. And the thing is, if you don't do it, you're kind of thought of as a jerk because you're standoffish. You're the guy
I
that's
know.
better.
I
By
hate
default,
that
you're
because
better than him.
I hate that because people like
You
if
screw up the
someone starts like a spontaneous conversation with me that I don't know that well, then I don't really pursue the conversation because I don't really know where to take it. And it's not that I'm not trying to talk to you and I don't want to talk to you. It's just that I don't really know where to take this conversation.
You don't do small talk.
I can't do small. I hate small talk. I can't do small talk. That's like my number one weakness in life, is that I can't do small talk because I'm aware that that is a somewhat important skill
You know what I hate?
for some situations.
I hate when let's say you call someone or you, I guess this applies more in maybe a business setting, at least for me, but you call someone, you're talking to them, and the first thing when you start this conversation is like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, good, how are you doing? Hate it. Why? I don't care how you're doing. You don't care how I'm doing. Let's just get to the point.
That's small talk. You don't like small talk.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
not.
You don't like small talk.
I just feel like it's pointless. And I understand there's a formality of doing it, but I feel like it's pointless. Like I've gotten to the point now where if someone, I'm on the phone or we're talking to someone, like, oh, how you doing? I'm doing good. What can I help you out with? I just move on. I'm going to go straight to the point because there's no point in me asking you how you're doing.
There's nothing wrong with that. I agree. That's kind of like the thing, words that are said that mean nothing in culture today. How are you? How are you doing? Good to see you. One that I love to play with is the next time you're at a restaurant and you ask for Coke or whatever your specific flavor of Coke is. Like, hey, can I get a Coke? And no, down here it's Coke. Can I get a Coke?
Yeah, in the South, a lot of times,
cola.
in the South, sometimes people say Coke meaning soda, not meaning Coke. If that's hard to grasp, I don't do that, but some people do.
A lot of people around here, like I would say on the West Coast, they say pop.
Yeah, I noticed that Yankees do too. Maze Man probably would say pop.
I dislike that actually. I
do too. It's Coke. All of it's Coke. Any flavor of it, it all goes down as Coke. If you want a Dr. Pepper, you can say I'm having a Coke. Or
no, you cannot.
Yeah, it's there.
If you sit at the restaurant, they bring you a Coke and
but still, my point: if you go to the restaurant, you say, "Can I get a Coke?" and they say, "We don't have Coke, we have Pepsi." They don't assume that you're asking for cola. We don't have Coke. We do have Pepsi. Look her or him square in the eye and say, "No," and wait. Because it will. Because then what they're expecting is yes, Pepsi's fine, or no, can I have? And you offer something else.
Sweet tea,
Mr. Pibb, whatever, Mountain Dew. If you look them square in the eye and offer nothing other than no, so many of them don't know what to do. If you look at someone and they say, "How are you doing today?" I'm doing okay. When I got up this morning, I felt good. I got out of the bed on the right side of the bed. Everything's really clicking for me today, and I'm looking forward to today. I'm having a great day. How are you doing? They are thereby obligated to do better than say, good, fine, sure, or move on. They have to respond with a more meaningful answer. Take more note of your surroundings. That may be Inception-like advice, but still, when someone answers you a gimme question, answer it with a non-give me answer, and you will blow people's minds.
That's pretty clever.
I'm telling you, next time you go to a restaurant, use that. And you want sweet tea? I don't care. Order Coke or Pepsi. And you want to know something that's even more obscure is like, say, I want a Mr. Pibb or I want an RC Cola. We don't have that.
That's
we have.
Just say I want a cola.
Bait
if
the question.
What you want to drink, say I want a cola.
But then they'll give you either Coke or Pepsi. They won't ask.
Farva. You didn't get the reference? Super Troopers?
No.
I want a liter of cola. If you got the reference, hit like.
Should hit the like button anyways, but
you should have hit the like button anyways.
They're probably gonna hit the dislike button for that reference.
I don't care. Bring the dislikes to my channel.
I mean, people, if you're an hour 25 in and you haven't liked yet, then I don't want you to be watching anymore.
Hey,
you jerk.
You know what though?
Because clearly you like the show. If you're watching it for an hour and a half, clearly you're enjoying it, or why would you be watching it? And if you enjoy the content, you should leave a like. because you should respect
or
that
maybe
we're putting his time in.
maybe they wait to watch the show or the video, then hit the like button. That's what I do. I wait till I'm done, then I hit the like button. Because maybe there's something like towards the end
So if you've got an hour
that
and
I
a half,
dislike.
if you got an hour and a half's worth of entertainment and then you don't like the last 5 minutes, you're gonna not like it.
That's what he
Maybe
said.
maybe they left a bad taste in your mouth.
That's fair, I guess. I mean, I probably offended some Obama supporters earlier and some Beauty Pie fans, but they can still like the video.
Because we've redeemed you from there.
Yeah.
And if we haven't, the beard has.
The beard has brought redemption. No, you know what? If you've got 10 million subscribers and you want to come blast me, come. But we're not baiting for that. I don't want to bait for that.
If you have 10 million subscribers, I just want to talk to you.
PewDiePie does. I don't want to talk to him. I don't have much in common with him, I don't think.
I probably don't either, but I've got questions.
Want to pick
Okay.
the brain of them.
That's right.
So
I get tired of watching videos where people say this is how you be successful on YouTube, because I used to look these up a lot when I was, 100, 200 subs.
Serious.
Because I was a young YouTuber and I had no subscribers, so I was trying to figure out, what I watched them because I was trying to figure out what do successful people do that makes them successful, so I can try to emulate. But then I found out that those videos were worthless.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Please.
Chat is a safe place.
The chat has to be a safe place. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, I wasn't even looking at what was happening. And,
So you were looking to see what makes them so successful.
and all the videos are clearly not helpful at all in view grabbing. I've even made my own to view grab. And I would like to actually pick the brain of a successful YouTuber and have a real discussion of what they did that worked, as opposed to, because I feel like you can't really figure that out without actually talking to them.
There was a game expo. I think it's actually called Game Expo, down in Atlanta. I think it was 2 weekends ago, and two big YouTubers I watch, Gassy Mexican, and actually his girlfriend is her name is like Lal Renee or something like that. It's really weird. But they're very big YouTubers. They stream on Twitch. They're partnered, all that stuff. And they actually did a panel, the two of them, and they talked about what they do and kind of what makes them so successful. One of the things that they said, and I truly believe this because a lot of the YouTubers I watch, they all do this. It's part of that group, and that is that they've surrounded themselves with people that are like-minded, and they all do kind of the same thing. And they all game together, and they're all able to grow together. So it basically saying that you're better in numbers. You're better. Instead of trying to do it all by yourself and do all these videos, you're better. Surrounding yourself with good quality people that are like-minded, and you helping each other out.
Have you guys been inundated lately with smaller channels than us, the 50, 100 subscribers that are trying their best to have interaction with your channel or this
I saw a guy on Bondfire's channel that asked for a shout out on his video today. I don't know if that's somebody you know or something, but I just saw that. And I've gotten more videos sent to me recently, like in YouTube messages asking me to check out videos. I haven't gotten formal requests for networking that much. I mean, it happens now and then. People say, can I have a shout out for shout out? Can I have a dual com? Whatever. You can argue the validity of those networking.
Have those increased in the last 2 weeks or so?
I wouldn't say in the last 2 weeks in particular. I mean, I think it gradually increases over time just as you grow. It seems to happen more often at a steady rate, but not in the last 2 weeks necessarily.
For me, I would say the last month, I've seen a big increase of people wanting me to check out their channels or getting shout outs and things like that, and I definitely want to go check out people's channels and see other people's contents and things like that. I'm certain that I pose to that, and I definitely will. For the people that have asked, it's something I plan on doing. But I
get most of my referrals from Twitter. for people that because you say I don't mind going and checking it out. I don't either, but I get most of my referrals from Twitter, and it's about networking. Punkman tweets out a lot of people that are really small, and some of them are good, some of them are not. And I've checked out several. I've subscribed to about 3 that he has said go check out, and I did that. And some of them are worthy to find. I would like for people to retweet my stuff. I think that Twitter's a great vehicle because it's like a personal signature that you do publicly. Is kind of the way I think of it.
That's something I've been trying to do more recently. I kind of made a conscious decision, even earlier today. I'm like, you know what? If I see someone who I follow tweet out a stream, I'm going to retweet it. If I see someone tweet out a video, I'm going to try to retweet it if I see it. I think it's something that takes just a split second, but it can help people. As far as you guys, I'm going to sound like a jerk here, but if someone asks me to come check out their channel, I do mind you asking me to go check out your channel because I am busy with running my channel, and as much as Wagmed always talks about how you don't upload very often, lol, which is true. I sometimes I lose focus and I go through a week or 2 of not uploading, and it's something I try not to do, but it happens. But you never said that publicly. I know the chat's a safe place, but I'm not trying to rag you out.
Apparently it's not.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it is because there's something that didn't get put out, and it needs to stay in the chat.
I know. And I'm not trying to get on you, Eggman, about that.
That face, though. That face needs to go in the all-time hits right there.
But regardless, most of my YouTube time is going to be spent working on my channel and with helping people that I've networked with or watching their videos or working on stuff with them, like you guys, for example. So I'm not going to check out a channel just because somebody asked me to unless I think there's something that I'm going to get out of it. And I'll tell you why. Because, and my voice is really starting to give out now, but I've reached a point where I have all of the content I want to watch. I already have enough of that. I don't need any more content to watch because I have too much content that I can watch already from an entertainment standpoint. So I'm not... chat safe again. I don't care, Bondfire. You can laugh because my voice is starting to get raspy now, okay? I've talked a lot in the last couple days. But I don't need any more content to watch. So unless I think I'm going to get something out of watching your video, like potentially having you on this podcast or something, then no, I'm not going to check out your content just because you asked me. Because why should I? That's going to sound like a jerk thing, I realize.
That sounds kind of jerky.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think that I should check out your content just because you asked, unless if you ask, hey, can I come on 3-bar? Then I will look at your videos because I want to see how many subscribers you have and I want to see if you make good videos. Because then maybe I'll have you on 3-bar or ask the guys to have you on 3-bar.
For those of you who do wonder why we put... You know what? This is a good topic to transition to. Let me timestamp it. For those of you who do wonder who does and who does not get selected for 3-bar exploits, there are a core group of people who have an open invitation if they want to say something and they want to use this as a vehicle to do it. There are about, 3 people that we would let come on and make that discussion happen, facilitate that discussion.
You mean people who are kind of like an auto guest if they want to come on?
Pretty much 3. I'd say 3.
Yeah, I would consider them in our group.
I'm not counting off the top of my head, but 3 to 5 people probably if we went through the whole list.
There are some people that we would love to get on that we may get on in the future, and they would be nice. Most of them are much bigger channels than us. We have not found smaller channels than us that we're just dying to have those people on. Most of the time, it's because if you're that good, you've got a bigger sub base, you grew your sub base faster. That doesn't mean that with less... I agree. That doesn't mean that with less that you're not better. Rage of Heaven doesn't have a whole ton of subscribers, but
we don't have a whole ton of subscribers.
He spoke
he was a good
comparatively to us. He speaks really well, and he carried a conversation, and he fit right in, and the discussion was fluid. It worked really well. I would love to have him back.
I mean, heck, you could. Okay, carry on. I don't want to interrupt.
Because it worked really well. There are people that would be good for our channels, the three of us combined, and everybody that we get with to make videos. It would be good for us to have them on 3-Bar, and we've said that they will never come on this show. There are only 2 people that are banned from this show. If you want to be on the show, I'm not saying make an audition tape and tell us why, but whenever you ask us to check out your content, pick a couple of videos that you want us to see. And that may sound facetious.
You can just say, well, yeah.
And
okay.
We want people on the show. We want guests. We want to see guests. If you've asked him and not received an answer, it's not because obviously we've got room for another one tonight and we don't have them. It's a scheduling thing. If you want to be on the show, we would love to know it, but your activity means something. And it's not just a one-time thing, because there's like 6 people that I forgot to go check out because they only hit me up one time. But what you're doing when you say check out my channel on my video is you're advertising on my video for your channel. You're advertising that to everyone who's going to watch my video. Oh, that guy makes videos too. Oh, he must make them like this guy. I need to go check him out. You're advertising on my video, and I don't really appreciate that. But I don't ban you or block you or anything like that either. Just give me something good when I get over there, because I've gone over there. I've gone over there and checked out some people's videos. They're not that good. If you've uploaded a 10-second video where you complain that the camera is not working right and then cut it back off, dude, no, that's not acceptable. We hold ourselves to a higher standard than that. There's some things that we don't do on this show, and we tell our guests we don't do those things when they come on our show.
I want to say that it's not all about subscriber count either, because when we first started the show, because the show, for people who don't know this, which is probably the majority of you, because this was literally the beginning of the show, the show was originally, me and Whackmed were 2 of the hosts, but Bondfire was not originally one of the hosts of the show. And Bondfire, I don't remember exactly how it went, but if I'm not mistaken, Bondfire was on my channel, and started watching my channel maybe, and then somehow I saw a comment of his or something and checked out his channel just by chance and found it. And I had a few hundred subscribers at this point, and Whack had a few hundred subscribers at this point, I think.
121.
Yeah. But Bondfire, if I'm not mistaken, Bondfire had less than 50 subscribers.
70 something. No, yeah, he had.
He had listed. Yeah, but I thought he made good videos, and I'm like, this guy deserves a chance to network with people that he probably isn't getting because of his low subscriber count. And I think he makes good enough content, and I think he would add to the show. So I went to Whack, and we decided we'd have him on the show, and then it was good enough that he's now a host.
Yeah, for those of you who wonder, I was picked because I'm old.
Yeah,
literally the conversation. That's literally the
the
conversation we had on. Was it Skype?
Probably.
If you mind if I quote, because I remember the quote.
You can go for it if you want, because I don't remember. I'm kind of scared.
Jazz and I would like to have a more mature perspective, and then he went on to say how good I make videos and how I enunciate and speak well and not shy and things like qualities of a good commentator. But he led off his cold call conversation with, "You're old and we like it."
Yes, we want to. Well, because the show, it was originally me and Jazz, and me and Jazz don't think that because Jazz isn't on the show anymore, there's some kind of beef. We still talk all the time. It's just that it was scheduling conflicts for the most part. So it was originally me and him when we were teenagers, and we're like, we want to get someone who's a little older to provide the perspective of an older gamer, because we didn't want 3 people with exact same views, because that would be boring. You have to have some kind of disagreements or different viewpoints to have a good podcast. But I think it's funny that that's how it started, yet now it's 2 older guys, and now I'm the outsider from the age perspective. I just think it's funny how it transitioned to that, because there have been young guy jokes made about me being younger than people in the history of this show.
And they will continue to be made, and I don't mind the old bald stuff either.
I'm sure they will, because I'll never be older than you.
But in the meantime, we have found people that we like to associate with. And it's really cool to network with more and more people, because it's just fun.
Yeah,
I completely agree. One thing I was going to say, and I've been wanting to say while we've been having this conversation on what we look for in the term networking, because I think the perception out there on YouTube with all these younger YouTubers and smaller channels, us included, that there's a misperception of what networking is. I think a lot of people think networking is
absolutely.
self-promotion, like what you said, Whackmid, promoting their channel among hundreds of other channels, and what they do is they'll it's basically spamming. Let's not beat around the bush. It's spamming your channel onto hundreds of other channels, hoping you get people back and doing a sub for sub. That is not how you network. That is not how you network in the real world, in the business world, and that's not how you do things.
True.
And that's not what we do here on 3-Bar Exploits. And I think people have to get over that perception, because a lot of people, for the bigger people, this is their jobs. And I think if you want to take this seriously and have something, try to hope to get something out of this, then you have to look at it from a real world perspective. And real networking is what the three of us are doing. We talk all the time, we game together, we do a show together, and we have that commonality. And I think, again, back to that panel that I was talking about earlier, that's what networking is. These people, it's a core group of people. They all game together, they do things together, they support each other, and they grow together. And that's why they're successful. That is what networking is in the real world, not sub for sub.
Exactly. And I want to say, and I've admitted this before, but I'll admit it once again. When I first started YouTubing, I did spam commenting because I saw everybody else doing it. And I'm like, and I saw people who I remember back, and I did it only until I got up to like 300 subs or so, and then I don't think I ever did it after that sub count, if I don't remember correctly, because I didn't think it was good anymore. But I remember I would look at people who spam commented, and I would go on Social Blade and look at how many subscribers they were gaining, and they were gaining so many more subscribers than I was, because at this point you're gaining like 1 subscriber a day, 2 subscribers a day. And I did that, but then I stopped doing it, and what I think people need to realize is that I stopped because I realized that it was a frowned upon practice, and I didn't want to do something frowned upon because I thought that would hurt my chances of networking with other people, because like if they saw that I was a spam commenter, they wouldn't want to network with me, so that's why I stopped. But then for people who do spam comment, I just want to say it feels a lot better to gain 5 subscribers in a day because you put up a really good video and it got shared around and you know that people found that video and liked it enough to subscribe, than it does to gain 5 subscribers because you went to the 20 biggest gaming channels on YouTube and asked people to look at your channel.
Hi,
so
I make videos. You should come and check out my channel.
Yeah, and at least try to, if you're going to spam comment, at least don't put the same thing everybody else does. I mean, good grief. I mean, everybody puts the same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say almost exactly what you said, Oyster. Like for me, I did not do this. In my earlier days, and how I found you guys is I would seek out bigger channels than I would just go check out their content. I would learn from them. I would comment on them, and like legit comments, like, "Oh, great video! I really enjoyed this particular topic," or things like that. That's how I got my name out there.
I put out a video about this last week, and you used some of the same comments I did. I'm glad we think alike.
Yeah.
It's a good comment, man. And you know what you did? You advertised yourself a little bit, but you also said, I support you because you think the way I do. It's a real comment. It's not a bait and switch comment. And I've done some of those, not too many. The other thing is hit us up on Twitter.
Yep.
And Twitter, we like to conversate on Twitter. In fact, we've had conversations that were so lengthy on Twitter, we did the world a favor and moved over to Skype because we were talking too much on Twitter.
One last thing, again, to Oyster's point is that when you do things legitimately, I'm gonna straight out say it, legitimately, without spamming yourself out there and really trying to grow the correct way and the way it's done organically, you feel so much better when you hit those milestones. Like when you hit that sub count you're striving for, and you did it through great content, working with real people and actually trying to legitimately network, that's so much more rewarding than spamming your channel out and you got 20 subs who just sub to you because you sub to them, but they don't actually watch your videos.
I'll tell you what's more important than subscribers is views per video.
Yeah. And one thing I actually look at almost daily is how many views I got in one day, like how much traffic your channel is generating. Because when it comes to getting partnered and working with networks and people who are going to sponsor you, that's what they're going to look at. How much traffic are you generating per your channel every single day? And if it's a lot, they're going to like that. If it's not, and even if you have 100,000 subs, it doesn't matter. It's traffic. Internet is traffic based. We went on a good rant here.
Wow. I've been wanting to say that for a while. I hope you feel as good as I do. I want you to know that it's not about you. It's about me. I'm sorry. I can't put as much into it as it deserves. And I want you to know that you're probably just too good for me. So if you have really enjoyed episode 40 of 3-Bar Exploits, let me know with a like. I would appreciate it. I can see what more I can do, but I'm telling you, there's just not anything extra. I've got Strictly Business Gaming. I've got Cinch for all my controller needs, and there just may not be any more room for you. And I apologize for that. I really wish I had more of me to give to you. So help me help you. And we'll see what we can do. Other than that, there's nothing more to say. But thanks. Have a great day.